Howdy. We got no power.
Oh, I'm just here to pick up a package. Just got the tracking saying that it was delivered.
Just got delivered. It's still in a big pile in the back.
So there's no way you can get it right now.
No.
Good morning, guys. Welcome back to the channel. Almost did not get our powder again today. Went into the UPS store to pick it up. Power's out for some reason. They said there's no way I can get it. Then the gentleman was kind enough to go look for it for me and he found it. So we got our powder in from Prismatic Powders, the one and only. All right, we're back at the shop. We do have a ton of stuff to get done today. But of course, the main thing that we are going to do today, as you can see by the title of the video, is powder coat the Brembo brake calipers. I have yet to fire up the air compressor and fill up our system. So let's go ahead and do that right now. Make sure everything works, make sure we don't have any leaks, make sure our regulator works, and make sure the Sandblaster works. All right, we put like 25 PSI into the tank. Let's crack open this lever, fill all of the air lines and see what happens. I did forget to thread seal this, the little regulator right here. I'm not gonna do it right now because then we'd have to wait another 24 hours. I don't have any tape. I'm honestly not a big fan of the tape. I like the sealant a lot better. I forgot a lot of stuff. This right here, I forgot to seal that as well. But other than that, I don't hear any leaks. That's exciting. All right, so the first thing we're gonna do is sandblast the calipers. These things are pretty crusty from when we had them stripped. So this is how they look right now. No powder coat left really on them, just a little bit of residue here and there. Other than that though, they should blast pretty easily. So with the sand that's currently in the blaster, which is green diamond, that's what I use for pretty much everything. We're not gonna blast inside here at all. I will blast in there, but I'm gonna switch out the sand with just some glass beads. Some really fine glass bead to clean them up. We don't wanna blast too much of that material away. All right, we got everything sandblasted. I am going to pull out this current sand that's in here, the green diamond, and we can put in the glass bead. And we are going to clean up these pieces right here as well with the glass bead. Everything is out of the blaster. What we're gonna do next before we actually powder coat them is run through and make sure all the threads are good. Mounting bolt threads and the threads that bolt the two calipers together. I'll run a tap through all those, make sure they're nice and clean. Now we did ship out 2 calipers, I believe. Let me look. I know for sure we stripped out 1 front caliper, which is that hole right there. I'm gonna try to tap it to see if I can get anything back out of it. And if not, we're gonna have to order up a helicoil kit. I did find the helicoil kit for the rear, which is an M10 by 1.5. The front is an M12 by 1.75 though, and I can't find anywhere locally that carries one. So we got the threads all chased with the tap. Everything turned out really nice. I was able to fix, or 90% of the way fix that front hole that got stripped out. If it holds when I bolt it together, I'll leave it. If it doesn't, we're gonna have to order up a helicoil kit and get it helicoiled. We can always do that later on if we need to though. I did end up pulling off the little brake pad sliders as well. Just one little extra step that I've never really done in the past. I figured it'd be better to pull those off and not powder coat those so the brake pads will ride and slide smoother. Next step is to go through, get everything cleaned up with water and degreaser. We're gonna throw them in the oven, get them dried off, and then we're gonna pull them back out of the oven, let them cool down, and then we can mask everything off and move on to powder coating. I'm super stoked on the color that we went with. 95% of you guys already know what the color is because it is exactly what you guys told me to do. I'm very stoked to show you guys what we are doing. So here is what we are gonna do for the masking part of the project. Both of these holes need to be masked off on both sides of the caliper. We will then bolt together the caliper, plug off these threads here, plug off these threads here, and then we should be able to move on to powder coating these bad boys. We are finished up prepping the very first caliper. This thing is ready to be powder coated. All right, I don't want to keep you guys waiting any longer. The color that we did is 95% of you guys guessed it. This is hot yellow. I didn't want to do the typical neon green / yellow that we always do because the color of the car is already kind of like neon-ish blue. So I figured a very, very nice, bright, vibrant yellow is gonna pop so hard on this blue. It's gonna look insane. I've seen photos of this online, this similar color combo, a really bright fluorescent blue with a nice hot yellow. It is such a good combination with a nice set of wheels. I'm not gonna show you guys the wheels that we got yet. I think I'm gonna do the valve cover in this color as well, and maybe a few other little things throughout the car, but this is going a little out of my comfort zone, honestly, because all the other cars are like not wild, crazy colors like we're doing on this car. If you wanna pick up this exact color, I'll have a link down below. Let's go ahead, spray out one caliper, get it in the oven, get it baked out, get it fully powder coated, and I wanna show you guys what it's gonna look like. We also did pick up a new powder coat gun as well, so I'm super stoked on that. We have the first caliper hanging from the rack. We're gonna go ahead and throw it in the oven for 10 minutes. Gonna bake some impurities out of it, make sure it's 100% dry. Pull it back out, let it cool down, and go ahead and spray out the first caliper. Never done this color before, hopefully it looks good. All right, well, we have that caliper in the oven. Let's pop open the new powder coat gun and see what we're working with. This thing feels really, really solid. Like thick, beefy. This gun is set up very similar to the old Eastwood gun that we used to run. There's an air source, there's a power source, and then there's a grounding cable. That's about it. So it's all set up. We have it plugged into the wall. This black cord runs over to the gun, screws into the bottom of the gun. This cable right here is the grounding cord, so we're gonna clip that onto the caliper. Then we're gonna grab the air hose, reel it out, and it's gonna plug right into the bottom of the gun. I believe this dial on the back right here is for the voltage, so the higher up you turn it, the better the powder will stick to whatever you're coating. I have yet to use the gun, but so far I am very impressed with the build quality. I have a really, really, really good feeling about this gun. It has a built-in air pressure regulator, so we don't need to put an external one on there. It has the adjustable voltage regulator. It just feels amazing. Let's pull out this caliper, spray it out, and see what we think. This thing is incredible, wow. There's no little button or trigger to push like there was on the Eastwood gun. It actually sticks. The powder actually sticks to the part. I've never had this experience in my life. With the Eastwood gun, you had to have the caliper or whatever you're coating like 400 degrees. This one, caliper's not very warm at all and the powder's sticking right to it. This is insane. All right, right off the bat, I'm gonna give this gun a 10 out of 10. I have no complaints with it whatsoever. It was very, very, very reasonably priced. No, this is not a sponsored ad either. It's just a quality product that Redline put out. I've never experienced this before. You guys remember at the old shop when we would powder coat, there'd be like 38 gallons of powder on the ground left over that we just wasted because nothing would really stick to the part. Well, look at this. Fully coated caliper, nothing on the ground. That's crazy. All right, boys, let's go ahead and throw the caliper back in the oven. It goes 400 degrees, I think 12 minutes part metal temperature. So as soon as that part or the caliper reaches 400 degrees, then we start the timer. Getting a quality gun makes me want to upgrade so much more stuff. Like get an oven that actually works properly. I guess that's really the main thing that we need. It's just so nice using stuff that is really, really high quality. It makes powder coating more simple and more enjoyable at the same time. I know this color doesn't look crazy right now, but as soon as it is flowed out and we pull it back out of the oven, it changes completely. It definitely is not gonna look anything like that. It's a very poppy fluorescent. this is going to be just a very, it's called hot yellow, just a very basic bright yellow. While we wait for that caliper to finish up, let's go ahead and mask off the other 3 calipers. We could probably do 2 at a time now that we don't have to worry about keeping the caliper warm while we powder coat it. We just pulled the first front caliper out of the oven. Turned out really, really good. It is a little bit on the lighter side in some areas as far as powder thickness goes. So I'll have to work on that with the next calipers that we do. But here is how she turned out. Thankfully, it's light on the back side. I don't know if you guys can see that. Yeah, you can definitely see that. The front side, we have really good coverage. Back side's a little bit light. If it was the front side that was light, I would probably redo it, but being that it's the back side, you're never gonna see it while it's on the car. I think it'll be okay. 3 more calipers to go. I'm gonna do both rears at the same time, being that we have a new and very improved gun. We should be able to get that done just fine. So let's see how this goes. Last caliper is in the oven right now. I decided to throw that first front caliper that we did on the car, just kind of bolt it on, set it on there and see how it looks. This color combo is insane. Oh my gosh. Like I said, I've never been into like really crazy wild color combos like this, but I think this flows so freaking well. That's crazy. It looks so good. I'm so excited to get these completely done. Get the Brembo stickers back on, which I think I'm gonna do black stickers. We could either do black or blue. I don't think white would look good. I think either black or blue would look really good. And I think I might have black here. So if I have black here, I'm gonna run black. You know what, guys? We have a set of these same exact stickers that we ran on the STI on the white Brembos. I don't know. That looks kind of sick. That looks like it's meant to be. Let me show you guys a little side-by-side action. This is definitely quite a bit brighter. All right, we have a little problem. Let me show you guys the importance of getting the proper amount, the proper thickness of powder on each part you're coating. We have all 4 calipers done right here, and it may not look like a huge difference, and it's not, but this caliper is a little bit lighter than the other 3. This one didn't get enough powder on it versus these 3. These are all coated properly. This one has pretty bad orange peel and it's a much lighter yellow. So real quick, I am gonna throw it back in the oven, get it warmed up, spray out the face of the caliper again, and we should be good to go. All right, let's run through and get these things fully reassembled, rebuilt with new seals, get the pistons back in, get the new pads on. We don't have the rotors back yet from the machine shop, so we can't put the rotors on right now. Hopefully we get them back a little bit later on today, but let me show you guys how these things go back together. get all the parts that we need. There are 2 bigger pistons and then 2 smaller pistons. The smaller pistons are actually the same as the rear pistons, so don't worry about mixing those up. Oil seals, and we need our dust seals. So the first thing that we're gonna do is grab some assembly lube. This is engine assembly lube. I know it sounds a little crazy, but it's what I like to use. I've used brake fluid in the past, and I think they go together easier with assembly lube. And when you bleed them, it pushes all the assembly lube out. So it's not the biggest deal in the world. So first things first, let's install the dust seal onto the piston. Slide it over that lip. Now let's take a bit of assembly lube. We're gonna lube up the board. You don't need too much, just a little bit. Got to get our oil ring in there. There's a little groove that it sits down in. Now we are ready to install the piston into the caliper. Usually this goes pretty easy. I kind of rotate it and push down at the same time. Should slide all the way down. Last thing we need to do is just press the dust seal down, get it seated onto the caliper, and that is how you go about installing the seals and piston back into your caliper. Fronts have 4 pistons, rears have 2 pistons. Got to make sure you don't forget these guys here. I am going to throw a touch of Loctite on the bolts for the pad sliders just so they don't back out. Let's run through, get all the pistons and seals in, and then we have to get the caliper back in one piece. All of these bolts on the backside are just snugged up. They're not tight whatsoever, they're not torqued down. To be completely honest with you guys, I do not know the torque spec. I never once have known the torque spec. What I do is I'll bolt the caliper to the car. Before I connect the brake lines and bleed the brakes, I'll run through with a ratchet and I'll just crank them down. That's what I've always done. Never once have had an issue with it. Now the last thing to install are the brake bleeders themselves. We're gonna get these in and we'll be all completed with the first caliper. This caliper should be all finished up. It's been cooling down for a while, so let's check it out and make sure the color matches. That looks much better now. We have 3 more calipers to reassemble. We got to throw the pads in, and then we have to go pick up the rotors. I hope they were able to be turned out just fine. Then we can get all of the brakes back on the car. All right guys, we are completely done rebuilding and powder coating the calipers. The last thing to do is get them on the car. Unfortunately, the machine shop that has the brake rotors still has not got finished turning them. So we're gonna have to wait until tomorrow to get these things back on the car. But what I wanna do right now is go ahead and put the Brembo stickers on. I asked you guys on Snapchat and I got a ton of responses. It was about 70% said blue, 30% said black. So I'm gonna go with your guys' opinion and we're gonna throw on the blue Brembo decals onto the yellow calipers. It's gonna be a wild look, a very, very contrasty look. They're completely different colors, but I think it's gonna look really, really good. Start with the passenger front. We're gonna just wipe it down with IPA, get it nice and clean so the sticker actually sticks on there. That is definitely a little bit wild, a little bit crazy looking, but I think it looks really, really sick. Good call on that one. Here is a general idea of how she's gonna look when it's all complete. Yellow on blue. Never thought I could look so good. That is crazy. The very last thing that we can even do today is ceramic coat the calipers. So you guys already know how to do it. I've showed you 1,000 times. Let's get these calipers completely cleaned up, get them ceramic coated, and then hopefully by tomorrow we can get the rotors back for this car. All right, my friends, that is gonna be it for today's episode. Very pleased with how these calipers turned out. Could not be more stoked on the color and on the decals. Let me know in the comment section below what you think of the color combo. Blue on yellow, like I've said 1,000 times already, is crazy, but I think it flows very well. I will have this exact powder link down below. I'll have the tape we used, I'll have the gun we used, I'll have the ceramic coat with my discount code. I will have everything that we used in this video linked down in the description box below. Go check it out if you want to do anything. You know where to get it. Peace out, I'll see you guys tomorrow.